It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the SUNY Cortland's head gymnastics coach, Coach Sulekha Zaug. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college gymnastics?
Yes, so actually, I wasn't really in the field so much until I was offered this opportunity. I was working in senior living, but I loved gymnastics. Of course, you never stop loving this sport. And the athletic director, Mike Ertz, actually called me, and I declined him a few times before coming up and doing the interview. And as soon as I got onto campus, I knew that this is where I needed to be. It hit me like a brick, kind of the same way my recruiting trip hit me. And I knew that this was the next move of my life.
Of course, what was that like getting to compete in college gymnastics?
It was such a memorable experience. It was so much fun. The camaraderie with the teammates, interacting with different coaches. I had 4 coaches in 4 years, so that was pretty unique and pretty different. But just having that team atmosphere and being able to showcase your skills at every meet, it's exhilarating. It's so much fun.
Of course, what was that feeling like getting to put on that gymnastics uniform for Cortland?
You feel so much pride. I mean, you can see red is everywhere. I bleed red. Putting on that leotard for the first time was just, you're a part of something bigger than yourself, and you're representing your university. And that's so special and so different than the way we did it in high school in our private clubs, which is it's just you yourself representing your team. Now it's you and your team representing a university. It's really exciting.
Throughout your career, what was it like being a 3-time NCAA champion?
It was something I still pride myself on as one of my biggest achievements. It was so great to be able to do that for my college, and the pressure of knowing how important each nationals was and knowing that I had to hit it was really intense. But every time I did it, I wanted more. I wanted more. So Cortland was nice enough to buy me my rings. So I'm wearing my rings today. And it was really exciting. And the one year I didn't win, I came in second, and I still have like bitter feelings about that.
Of course, besides the championships, what were some of your other accomplishments in gymnastics?
Well, before I came to college, I was training elite actually with some of my teammates, which is the highest level. It's the Olympic level. I was state champion, New York state champion on bars for 2 or 3 years, regional champion on bars for 2 or 3 years, Empire State Games champion. So bars was like my thing. Bars and beam were my thing. And probably my biggest achievement was coming in 4th all around my senior year at nationals in college, because I didn't train all around all throughout my career. So being able to put that together for my very last meet and coming in 4th, I think something told me that I wasn't supposed to win that meet, because I had a little misstep on my vault, which was my last event. And without that, I would have won the meet. But I think everybody knew that I didn't really deserve it because I wasn't training it for all of those years. So coming in 4th was a big deal. It showed me that not only am I a bar specialist and a beam specialist, but I could do everything. And that was a great way to end my career.
What was that feeling like in 2018, getting to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I was shocked. I don't even think I realized that they had a Hall of Fame at that point. And being able to be at that nationals and be awarded in front of the Cortland gymnastics team, who I really wasn't in contact very much, seeing my old coach, seeing the new teammates and having them kind of look up to me, it was really special. I didn't expect any of that, and I was truly honored to be a part of that.
What was that transition like for you from going from competing in gymnastics to then what were you doing outside of gymnastics after college?
So after college, I actually moved to Hawaii for 2 years and just kind of experienced life with my boyfriend at the time. We ended up getting married. He ended up passing away, unfortunately, which was awful. So, you know, a lot of like ups and downs, the way life is. I started working in senior living, and I worked at a nursing home, moved up to an assisted living, and finally was running an independent living facility before I got the call from our athletic director. So that's why I was like, I have a really great career. Do I transition to a completely different career? But then I knew once I came to campus, I knew my passion was gymnastics. And I knew that I could, if I'm already motivating seniors to live their best lives, I can do the same thing in a sport that I know and a sport that I love on a campus that is probably one of my favorite places on earth, and able to do that for the next generation. And it's been such a great experience.
What was that transition like from you from going from senior living to getting into college coaching?
Completely different. Absolutely completely different. Dealing with this generation of 18 to 22-year-olds is a little bit different than dealing with 70 to 100-year-olds. So just the way that you communicate, their needs are completely different. I became a psychologist, a friend, a confidant, their favorite aunt. Completely different than the role that I had with seniors, where they learn to kind of rely on me to provide them activities, to provide them with all their needs for daily living. I was still needed, but in a completely different way.
How was that feeling like getting to come back home to Portland to become the next head coach?
It really was like coming home. That's exactly what it felt like. I think when I first walked into the gym, well, I'll tell you a quick story. So when I was a senior, we did a scavenger hunt. Me and some of the other seniors did a scavenger hunt. We ended up going to my coach at the time's house and stealing his reindeer from the back of, it was just like a wooden reindeer from the back of his lawn. And for some reason, when I walked into that gym, that reindeer with all of our names painted on there from my senior year was in that gym. So an assistant coach at the time, he hung it up because he knew that I was the only one who understood what it meant. And I was laughing, and the teammates were looking at me like, what is that thing? Why is there a reindeer in the Red Dragon gymnastics gym? But it's hung up in our gym right next to the Cortland gymnastics sign. And that kind of brought me back and like tied me into, this was my past, and now this is also my present and my future. It was a very cool thing. So being back in the gym just brought back so many memories, so many great memories. And knowing that now this is my program, it was a little overwhelming, but I have plans to make it great.
Of course, what was that moment like when you did get announced and after the press conference that it sunk in that you were back home at your alma mater to become the next head coach?
It hit me like a ton of bricks, and I said, I'm going to have a lot of work to do. So I did a lot of research. I met the girls. The most important thing is creating that relationship and the trust with this team. They have to trust me. They have to buy into what I'm saying and my visions for where the team is going. So just getting them all on my side and letting them know that I've been through everything that they're going through. I've been through a few years before. So getting them to understand that and trust me is the most important thing. But it hit me. I was like, whew, this is going to be a job.
How did you take what you learned as an athlete at Cortland to then help you to become the head coach you are today?
Well, hard work is the key for anything, and listening to your body. And at this stage where gymnasts they're used to doing so many numbers, by the time they come to college, their bodies change, their lifestyle changes, so their muscular structure changes. And my main concern is for them not to have injuries. So to be able to take that hard work and let them trust in all the numbers that they've done before in the past, and now listen to your bodies. Instead of doing 10, let's do 5. Instead of doing 5, let's do 3. What is your body telling you to do? To try to get them to be more of an advocate for themselves, to be the best person they can be. So again, it comes back to trust, and it comes back to them trusting themselves. And that's a hard thing.
What are some of your accomplishments now as a head coach?
Well, I think I know I've created an incredible culture. That's the most important thing. We want to have a place where potential recruits can come in and feel like they can be a part of this program. They want to buy into what we're doing. So I think the culture we created, where the girls just love each other so much, they love what they're doing. as a recruit, you come in and you see that, that's the culture. We work hard, we play hard, we blast our music. We want everybody in the building to know that we're there. We run around the building for conditioning. Like, we are there, we're a force, and people coming in can see that. Other things that are really important is creating the passion that I have and allowing them to feed off of that. Creating healthy team dynamic, making sure that they feel supportive in the gym and out of the gym, knowing that they can always talk to me. We have one of the highest GPAs out of all the athletic teams, so that's really important to me. Gymnasts are already type A, overachievers, perfectionists, so making sure that they're coming in like that, being able to maintain that throughout the next 4 years, and then whatever they decide to do in the future. But the greatest moment I had was this year at Nationals. We had 2 individuals qualified to Nationals. One is a freshman, Gianna. She came in 5th all around, and she had a mistake on every event. Not a big mistake, but like a little mistake. She realized at Nationals she could have won that meet, and that's giving her the fire. So after every event, when she landed and she saluted, she turned to me, she goes, "I'm going to do better this year. I'm going to work so hard this summer." And like, that fire that was inside of her was just amazing. And then my other gymnast, my senior, Glynis, she, from the moment I met her, she had the best bar routine in the country in our division, in Division 3. I knew it, everybody knew it, and she never, because of COVID and everything else, she never really had a chance to prove herself. So this year at Nationals, she hit the best routine of her life, stuck her dismount. She had tears, and she's not an emotional gymnast. She had tears, we all had tears, and that moment I will never forget. And she came in 2nd. She was a runner-up at Nationals. So that was a really big deal for us, for her, for our institution. Nationals was great.
Of course, as a head coach, can you talk about the process of building the team around you and the coaching staff around you?
Yes, I need to have constant communication with everybody. We all need to be on the same page, which we are. I have 2 volunteer assistant coaches and 1 assistant coach and myself, and we work so well together. For the gymnasts, being able to communicate with them and being able to trust them, that's the main thing. So I think, honestly, communication and being on the same page is the key to our success.
What does a typical gymnastics meet look like?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about us having a home meet, because that is a whole beast in its own being. So it's basically complete facility management. I have to come in really early. Actually, no, I'll start from the day before. So the day before, we set up the entire gym. We build the entire gym. So there's vinyl that goes down, then we bring our equipment in and we build a gym in our basketball gym. So that takes anywhere between 2 to 5 hours, depending on if it's the first time we do it that year or the last. So by the end of the year, we end up getting really good at it. So that's part 1. Then, and the gymnasts help with all of that. Then they go to sleep, they go home, they do that. Then the next morning, it's facility management. It's making sure the basketball hoops are up, making sure that the floor and the vault are vacuumed, making sure the tables are set up for the judges and the DJ, making sure the DJs are reminded of what our vibe is for the day, which is just upbeat and fun. Arranging volunteers from the other teams to help us set up and take down. So you notice I haven't said gymnastics yet. We haven't even touched gymnastics yet. Making sure all the equipment is safe and secure. So that makes me really nervous, because I realize that not only my team, but our visiting team is going to be affected by this equipment. So we have to make sure it's really safe. So I like to invite the visiting coach to come in and check on it too, make sure that they feel comfortable with everything. The athletes feed off of my energy. So I have to make sure that I'm calm and supportive and positive, but also trying to keep them hyped up without burning all their energy, because meets are really hyped up events. Everybody's screaming and yelling from the moment it starts to the moment it's over. So lots of delegating, making sure that they fuel up, making sure that I fuel up, because I forget that too, making sure I have my caffeine, my assistant coaches have their caffeine, and just kind of playing the host, being the hostess with the mostest, making sure that the other teams know where the bathrooms are and the training room is. It's a full 9-hour day for myself, for my staff, and for the gymnasts. So that's a home meet. It's a really big deal. It's like hosting a party and being a facility manager all in one. And then also, yes, coaching gymnastics and making sure we have a great day.
Of course, what is that feeling like, getting to be on the basketball court where the basketball team plays?
It's great. When I was competing, we were in our training gym and we had our meets, our home meets. So being able, knowing that the school realized the importance of our meets and how big our sport has gotten for us to be able to use that space is big. The downside is building the gym, which is a pain, but once we're out there and we have all of our fans and families out there, President Bitterbaum and his wife, they come to every single meet. They're the hugest supporters of us. So knowing that everyone is there for us in a bigger facility, it kind of gives legitimacy to the sport and to what we do. And it makes the gymnasts feel amazing.
Who are some of the teams that you compete against in gymnastics?
So we're in the NCGA conference. So we compete against mostly the East teams during most of the year. So that would be Ithaca, Rockport, Springfield, Rhode Island, Ursinus colleges. And now Utica just started a new program, so they'll be joining us. Greenville and Simpson are now part of our NCGA. And then when we go to nationals, we compete against the teams from the West, which would be all the University of Wisconsin schools. There's about 5 or 6 of them: Gustavus Adolphus, Hamlin. I'm sure there's more than I'm forgetting, but there's 15 now in the West and now 9 in the East. I may be wrong with that. There's been so many changes. I'm a little off, but that's our conference. That's the NCGA.
Of course, what is that like, obviously getting to compete against those SUNY schools, but not only the SUNY schools, but those other schools outside of the SUNY area?
It's great. We're lucky that we have a lot of teams that we compete against that are out of state. So we get to take a lot of road trips, which is exciting for the girls. We love being away. We're representing New York every time we go anywhere, we're representing the SUNY system. So it's just a lot of pressure to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. I always want to promote sportsmanship and professionalism, and the girls follow suit with that. So it's always exciting to represent SUNY Cortland.
As head coach, what are some of your biggest coaching accomplishments throughout your career?
I'd say nationals, and I'd say being able to build this team. I have 14 freshmen coming in this year, which is a lot for an incoming class. They're coming from all over the country. So I'd say presently, I'm finally where I need to be to get the results that I'm looking for. My first year was 2019. And COVID hit that year. So I wasn't able to recruit as well as I wanted to. I wasn't able to build the program. We're basically shut down for a year and I wasn't able to travel. So finally, I'm building the team that I've been hoping for, and we're getting to where we want to be. So I think the next year is going to be pivotal in seeing where this program is going.
What has it been like for you as a head coach to go to nationals with your team versus when you were a player going to nationals competing?
I loved competing. Like that was like, it gave me so much adrenaline. It gave me, I love being the center of attention, I guess. I love being out there, and gymnastics is such an individual sport that when you're there, you're on a stage and it's just you. Even if all the other events are going on, it is just you in that event. So that exhilarating feeling of just being able to showcase your skills and doing it to the best of your ability, there is no match to that feeling. It's incredible. But being there as a coach now for my team and watching them do it and watching their faces and their nervousness. Like I have a girl who holds her stomach right before she goes and I see how nervous she goes. So I said, the power that I guess not the power, but the trust that they have in me to go over to them and say the right words and to get them to calm down and for them to rely on their teammates to do that. It's a really special, completely different feeling that I'm so glad I'm able to be a part of.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to compete in gymnastics?
So a lot of it now is on social media. So gymnasts from all over the country, I get probably 8 to 10 emails a day. They email me, they attach their YouTube links, they attach their Instagrams. I go on, I look at all those, I follow the ones I'm interested in, and then I invite them to our high performance camps. That's the best way for me to see them because then I get to work with them one-on-one instead of just watching their videos. So a lot of them do try to go. I've gotten a lot of recruits from the high performance camps, which has been so helpful. Then I invite them to come back for a visit. They get to take a tour of campus. They get to watch practice, meet the girls. And honestly, because of the culture, that's been selling them. That's what happened in the last year. To get 14, and we had 3 in one weekend from all over the country that came in, every single one said yes. So we're doing something right. They're feeling that passion and they're going for it. It's exciting.
Of course, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes when out recruiting them?
So besides obviously the skill set that I'm looking for that's going to help us grow as a team, I'm looking for individuals that understand the team atmosphere, because like I said before, it's an individual sport. So for them to take that, move it aside, and be able to do what they need to do for the betterment of the team as a whole, it's a new concept. It's hard for them to understand because they've been only competing for themselves probably since they started at 4 or 6 years old up until they're 17 or 18. So just getting them to buy into that program. And I look for when I do a Zoom with them, I look for positivity. I look for passion, for eagerness, for leadership potential. It's so much more than just gymnastics, because I feel so passionate about the girls that I have right now. I want to make sure that the ones coming in will fit into that mold, because we work hard to get to that point. And it takes a certain person to be able to help us build and to fit in.
What does that official visit look like for those prospective gymnastics athletes looking to come to Cortland?
Sure. So they'll come in, they'll take a campus tour either by the admissions department or by myself, one of my staff, or one of our teammates. They come into our gym, they meet with me, they meet the girls. They'll have an opportunity to stay over in the dorms with the underclassmen, and that's where they get to experience normal everyday life. The girls take them to classes sometimes, they bring them to study halls. I mean, they're immersed in normal life. They eat in the dining halls. And then I meet with the parents afterwards and the prospective gymnasts, and we discuss everything, ask questions, and figure out if they can truly see themselves here at Cortland. And the answer is usually yes.
Of course, what is that feeling like, seeing them fall in love with the campus that you fell in love with as an athlete?
It's great. I told them the first time I got here, I just knew, I just had a feeling, and this wasn't one of the schools I was looking at, but as soon as I got here, I said, this is it. So for them to see the same thing, and I actually had a recruit tell me that when she walked through campus, she felt like she was in a movie, like a college movie. I said, that is the coolest thing ever. And that is such a compliment for our entire institution. So for them to see that, and for them to be so excited and send me texts and send me emails and say how they can't wait to be here in August, it's a very cool feeling. Like they're already buying into what I've experienced and what I feel.
As a head coach, what is it that feeling like, seeing those freshmen put on that gymnastics uniform that you put on versus your seniors putting it on for the last time?
Oh, the seniors. But watching the freshmen do it and just seeing how giddy they get to put on the leotard that they've seen on videos or they've seen when they came to watch a meet the previous year, they get so excited. It's really awesome. I get a kick out of watching their faces and their emotions. The seniors, oh my gosh, I got really attached to our last group of seniors. They started their freshman year, my first year, so we were all building together. So that last meet, which ended up being our regionals for our entire team to compete, it was really emotional, because they've just worked so hard, and they knew when they put that leotard on, they knew that was the last time they were putting it on. And it was just, it's overwhelming. It's emotional. They work so hard. This sport is so mental and so gut-wrenching and so emotional. So for them to finally put it on for that last time, I think every athlete goes through this when they end, but something about gymnastics, because they're doing it from so young and it's their identity, it's everything that they know, that they've sacrificed their entire lives for it just to be over. It's like a whole wave of just, it's a lot.
Of course, what are some of your future plans for the SUNY Cortland's gymnastics program?
So I'd like us to be I'd like us to be top 3 in the East. I'd like us to be top 3 in the nation. I think that can happen very soon. I want to make sure that we're always in the top for GPAs. I want us to be known for our hype. So last year, I think there was a podcast or there was a Twitter or something that recognized us for our hype. We're very passionate, and I want like the whole nation to know us and to know what great things we're doing. So it's about putting our image out there, and it's such a positive image. I want to keep that going. I want to make sure that we're always promoting ourselves the most professional way that we can and the most classy way that we can. And I think that's representing our school to the best of our ability. So GPA, maintaining great gymnastics, coming in the top 3 in both of our major meets, our postseason meets, that would make me feel really good.
What advice would you give those freshmen entering their first year of collegiate gymnastics?
To listen and watch and listen to your seniors, take one day at a time, realize that this is a huge transition in their lives, and just give into it. Just let go of all your inhibitions and just get right into it. When they're on floor, to let go and just dance like they never danced, play to the audience. This is something a little bit different than probably the way they've been doing their routines in the past. They have to find a joy for the sport for them to be able to completely let loose and show their artistic ability. And I think that's the big change in college gymnastics between DP, which is like the level they did in high school, and then college. It's just being able to kind of showcase your artistic ability a little bit more. So taking it one day at a time and just buying in.
What advice would you give those seniors that are entering their last year of college gymnastics?
We had this talk this year. Really taking your time and embracing every moment, because this will be your last first of everything. The last first day of season, the last first meet. So just taking those memories, taking a lot of pictures, appreciating the fact that you were given an opportunity to do a sport that they love and that they excel in, and being able to do it for 4 more years. That's a gift. That's a gift that they earned. So it's a great feeling. And I think the girls this year really did a good job of that.
What advice would you give those college athletes looking to transition from being gymnastics to gymnastics coaches?
It's a lot more than gymnastics, actually. As I've said, with setting up for a meet, it's skill building will actually take a back seat. It's more of being a psychologist. It's more of being the favorite aunt, the confidant, the friend, an event planner, a salesperson. You want to create something that people want to be a part of. So yes, gymnastics is what you're doing, but it's so much more than that. It's organization. It's being a CFO. You have a budget. You have to work with numbers and spreadsheets. So just understanding that it's more than gymnastics, but it's so much more fun, actually, because you get to be an event planner, and everybody loves that.
Of course, what advice would you give those future head coaches looking to coach in college gymnastics?
Pretty much the same thing, just that it's so much more than just gymnastics. And now understanding the mental constraints that athletes go through, being able to understand that and being able to communicate with them effectively, and building on the trust so that they know they can come to you, and you have to be able to react appropriately to help them. There's good days and there's bad days. There's days that girls need to just they call it take a lap. So they walk out the back door of the gym, they do a lap or 2 around the second floor where a gym is, and then they come back in and they're much better and they're composed. You just need to step away sometimes when you're frustrated. And as a coach, you need to understand, like when you look around, you say, oh, where is Bianca? Oh, she had to go take a lap. It's okay. And be able to understand that, and then going to check in and making sure that she's doing okay. So it's just understanding the generation, understanding people, and being able to be there for them.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to coach at their alma mater like you have?
Feed off the great memories, feed off the team traditions, realize that you are a part of a legacy that you were once a part of. So just understanding the pride of that, and be so lucky that you've been given this opportunity. I'm grateful every single day that I walk into that gym and step onto campus, because this is my campus. And now I'm given an opportunity to give back and to help build these young ladies into independent, strong women, great athletes, and allow them to have even a better experience than I had.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with the SUNY Cortland's gymnastics program?
So we are on Instagram. It's Cortland Gymnastics on Instagram. And then my personal Instagram is Sulekha Z, and it's public. So feel free to join.
Thank you again, Coach Sulekha, for your interview, and best luck in your future with the SUNY Cortland as the head gymnastics coach.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Sulekha, for your interview. Best luck in your future.
Thanks, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.